Telecel.
Hello there and a warm evening to you. Welcome to another episode of Business Focus here on TV3 with me, Michael Obodu. Coming up tonight on the show, fuel price hikes and cedi slide threaten government's NDS single-digit inflation target. Tonight on Business Focus, we ask, are concerns about government's ability to hit its target justified? We're exploring that and more on the show for you tonight. So you're still up here on Business Focus here on TV3. We have a packed show for you. Various angles of the discussion will be brought to you today, but you know that Business Focus is sponsored by Telecel as well as EcoBank. Now, every day people face different emergencies: police emergency, fire emergency, medical emergency, you name it. But many Ghanaians don't know their emergency numbers. Well, here's one you would want to remember: *770#. Yes, *770# is the new EcoBank money emergency number. *770# gives you instant access to loans, fund transfers, utility payments, airtime and data purchases, and so much more even without data. So there's no need to panic when you find yourself in any money emergency. EcoBank will come to your rescue. Dial *770# now for solutions to your money emergencies. EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank. Now, before we go into the nitty-gritty of today's conversation, we'll turn our attention quickly to the currency, commodities, as well as the treasury bill market and bring you updates. At the moment, the dollar will be bought from you at 11 cedis 59 pesos, sold to you at 11 cedis 61 pesos. This is also part of a central part of today's conversation that we are having for you. The prices of fuel you see at the pumps today was based on an exchange rate of our 11.2 cedis against the US dollar. However, now at 11.59, how does all of this translate to the cost of fuel going forward for the rest of the month? The pound will be bought from you at 15.7, sold to you at 15.72. The euro 13.52 and sold to you at 13.58. But be guided that these figures are much higher at the Forex Bureau near you. On the global commodities front, the price of cocoa is down by 103%. It's trading at $7,710 per ton. Gold also is up by $29.35, trading at $3,477 per ounce. Crude oil is also up marginally by $0.61, trading at $68.09 per barrel. On the treasury bill front, the 91-day bill is going for 10.32%, 182-day bill is going for 12.37%, 364-day bill going for 12.99%. And interestingly, this time around, government failed again to meet its treasury bill targets. We see how all of this fits into government's long-term strategy for managing its access to the short-term debt window. That's the treasury bill auctions. You're still watching Business Focus here on TV3. We'll go for a quick break. When we come back, we'll delve into our conversation for today. Please stay tuned. Welcome back. This is Business Focus here on TV3, and just gone by were tidbits from EcoBank on how to prepare for pensions. But every day people face different emergencies: police emergency, medical emergency, fire emergency, you name it. But many Ghanaians don't know their emergency numbers. Well, here's one you'd want to remember: *770#. Yes, *770# is a new EcoBank money emergency number. *770# gives you instant access to loans, fund transfers, utility payments, airtime and data purchases, and so much more, even without data. So there's no need to panic when you find yourself in any money emergency. EcoBank will always come to your rescue. Dial *770# now for solutions to your money emergencies. EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank, and proud sponsors of Business Focus, as well as Telecel. Well, the big conversation is up now. Fuel prices appear to be on the incline again after over 8 consecutive windows of decline in prices. It looks like some are concerned as the trend reversed suddenly. Are we returning to, some will call it as the dark days of very high cost of fuel? But well, my panelists today will be walking us through the conversation. We've picked their thoughts on it and then find out the way forward and how bad probably the situation has been. Joining us via Zoom is the CEO of the Chamber of Oil Marketing Companies, Dr. Rivers Sungopon. Doc, thank you so much for your time. If you could unmute for us so we can begin the conversation with you. We also have joining us via Zoom economist, Professor Esuming. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Okay. So, Doc, I'll start with you. We've seen some concerning decline, appreciation of increase in the price of fuel. From the data that you released from your outfit, you are projected that fuel prices will go up between 3.86% to up to 5.4%. Quite significant increases. What really is happening and accounting for this increase? Because when I look at the data that you shared as well, you gave some interesting numbers as to how all of this was computed. I'm trying to pull out the page. You say Forex changes in terms of the depreciation or the figure that you used for the window. It moved from 10.7 to 11.2. That's about 3.98%. However, petrol price went down by 0.45%. Explain how all of this now translated into your increasing fuel prices by up to 5%.
Thank you. Thank you so much for hosting us today for this rather important discussion. It's always good to know what is happening in the market, since I'll say fuel is the economy in a way, right? You're right by saying that indeed the flat price for PMS had gone down, and so indeed globally we should have seen that the price of PMS would go down this window. The forecast we do at the chamber is not just a tabletop forecast. So you realize that our forecast might always differ from anybody's forecast. Indeed, you should have seen this high range of upward increase, especially as far as PMS is concerned, right? Diesel, it makes sense. I mean, 2% out of a 4%, I would say, adjustment in Forex. It's not bad. Also because flat price for AGOs came down. But one thing we realized at the very last week of the just immediate past window was that there was an artificial increase in PMS because the product was skewed towards certain group of BDCs, and therefore they call the price, and that's what the market is. When it's kind of skewed to one or two BDCs, they tend to call the shots, right? That one you and I cannot control it. It's fine. So we pick the window, how the actuals operated, and how going forward is going to be like. I mean, thanks to intervention, we had a meeting with MPA. We got other BDCs to be discharging as we speak today. So even this forecast, and again, it's a forecast, might even come down to 2. It's possible if other BDCs come and then the competition set in. That's the more reason why sometimes competition at the barest minimum is important. Otherwise, there will be some monopoly. However, I stand to say that, yes, indeed, the marginal increase you see today for LPG, for the diesel and the petrol, are purely due to the almost 4% depreciation rate at the Forex level.
Yeah, but why are we feeling all that 4% when the price of petrol dropped by 0.45%? That's, I would have thought that to some extent it would have cancelled out, because if Forex depreciated by 3.98%.
So if we take a look at diesel is just increasing by 1.2 to 3. So because the downward movement now cushioned the depreciation of the city. That's why there's the balance there. So you don't see the entire 4% on diesel, right? Do you see that? And I've explained to you why petrol seems different. And I also said that it might not be because other BDCs are today discharged into the market. Then the competition will set another tone. Remember, I said that we don't do desktop forecast. We do actual forecasting. We have the data. Okay.
Fair point. Sorry. So, but really, we understand that there has been some government interventions with the Forex on the market. You've had access significantly to Forex. How is all of that?
No.
That's not the case.
That's not true.
What is happening then? Provide us with the facts.
There is still limit. I mean, you see, we choose to be careful with this. Okay, we choose to pick our words right. One thing I know about the Forex is that once there is this whole kind of hasting to get it, I mean, it just destroy the market. But let's speak fairly, okay, and truth and the truth that there is shortage of Forex availability for trading today, and that's true. It's a fact.
Interesting one, but at least
and you see even if it's available, all right, in the market today, it's no more 10. It's no more 10. I remember this. I was buying a ticket that I had booked, right? I mean, the ticket was booked with the 10.4. The time the agent was issuing it, it had moved to 11.2. Ticket, I mean, normal air ticket.
Yeah.
So it's, I mean, let's speak the truth and let the facts come out.
Okay. So I have Professor Sumi, an economist, on the line as well. Prof, the figures that Doc is working with at about 11.2 against the US dollar. As we speak today, the exchange rate is trading around 11.59 or so. Now, my question to you is, how does all of this really impact the gains that we've made with regards to inflation, especially in a situation where the policy rate has been reduced and now the currency is also depreciating quite, some will call it marginally, but I don't know what you make of
it. Good evening again to viewers, and good evening to Doc. I think that, you know, it's from the very onset when the cedi saw that sharp appreciation, some of us had argued that perhaps that's taking it too far. So what we are seeing the last couple of weeks, more or less, is like a correction. I think what is a little uncomfortable is to see, in a matter of 1 week, how much the currency has appreciated. That's always the kind of thing that you don't want. Wild swings, sharp appreciation, and then sharp depreciation. That's really not what you want. What you want is, you know, even if it's going to be depreciating, you want to see it more or less crawling rather than seeing the kind of jump you are seeing. But in terms of your question, I think, so like I said, I take this more like a correction of allowing the currency to appreciate too much. How much of a correction it will go, we don't know. But obviously, this doesn't help. I think, well, it doesn't help in terms of the kind of stability, especially in terms of the inflation. This is more or less going to help reverse some of the gains that we've seen. One thing that you have to notice is that economists keep saying prices are sticky downwards. So when the currency appreciated, the rate of reduction in fuel prices more or less didn't correspond. Because if you look at where the fuel is trading right now, if you look at where we were trading at the beginning of the year, the extent of the appreciation we saw, we didn't see the full pass-through going to the prices. So it might take, we might begin to see the prices perhaps rise faster because prices rise faster than they decline. And then if you put this together with the fact that the policy rate has been reduced and all the other things that the central bank has been up doing these days, clearly there's some tightening of the availability of forex, and that's obviously going to impact on our especially our inflationary target going forward.
There have been issues about the Bank of Ghana's interference with the forex market. We saw a statement that indicated that it had reduced its interventions by about 50%. On the other hand, the central bank governor also said that this depreciation that we are seeing is a blip due to some measures they are putting in place. However, it will stabilize. Do you buy into that narrative?
Well, I don't know how she interprets it's a blip. I think it's not a blip in the sense that it will correct and get back to the 10 that we were not. It is not. I don't think that's the case. If you say you are reducing the level of intervention, which the IMF and the bank has been on their case about, then obviously it's not going to be a blip. We are going to settle at a new level, a new rate. So in that sense, it's not a blip. It's like what I would call a correction, because the 10.2 range that we were trading, it just wasn't feasible. It was going to be very difficult for the BOG to keep it at that rate. So in that sense, it's not going to be a blip. We're going to have a new rate, which is closer to where the city really should be trading. I think what's disturbing is, when there appears to be shortage of foreign currency, and then the rate was not rising. I think that was where it was clear that there's some manipulation going on, because if the currency is freely allowed to trade, you really shouldn't have that kind of shortage. If there's too much demand and the supply is not enough to meet, the currency should lose value, and then the equilibrium is reestablished. That's what we teach in Econ 101. So every time there's shortage and yet the rate is not moving, then you know that some kind of manipulation is going on. Like he's saying, well, he said that there's not enough dollars in the market. That is why last week and this week we are seeing the currency depreciate the way it is. That's really what we expect. And as long as this continues until we reach an equilibrium, which many people expect to be around the 13 range or whatever, until we reach there, we're going to see that appreciation. Unfortunately, it means that the fuel prices will keep going up.
Well, now, from how things are going, do you expect the inflation figures for the next one by the Ghana Statistical Service to remain within the 12.1 range or higher?
Well, I think, first of all, we're seeing this, the fuel price increases is in this pricing window. The currency appreciation, the currency depreciation had just started. I'm sure you've heard there's something called pass-through. When the currency depreciates, when fuel prices start increasing, it takes some time before we see its full effect in the economy. So definitely not at the next inflation reading. The inflation data is taken within the first couple of weeks of the month. So, well, as far as I know. So it means that even if there's going to be a reversal, we're not going to see it in the next reading or two. It's going to take place down the line. So the pass-through effect takes some time to be seen. So I don't think that when the next inflation is read, because we have been carrying some momentum throughout, especially from March, where we saw the massive appreciation, as well as the pass-through going through fuel prices and other things. I don't think we have gone through that full effect yet. So that momentum is still there. And then So, it just won't revert course like that. But I think once the currency continues to depreciate, then maybe in 2 or 3 months' time, we begin to see it's reflecting in the inflation rate.
So you don't expect any significant change necessarily within the inflation figures, if I
I
understood
think
your point.
that, yeah, so the point I'm making is that the downward momentum may continue, maybe at a slower pace,
Okay, fair
but
point.
going forward, then we might begin to see a reversal.
A reversal, depending on whether the inflation, the issues with depreciation of the local currency persist.
Exactly.
Okay, so we spoke to the PRO of the Ghana Private Road Transport Union, GPRTU, Alhaji Abbas Imboro, on what they make of all that's been happening. When fuel prices went up some time ago, they had gone up in arms about threatening to increase transport fares, especially after government also introduced the energy sector levy. But we spoke to him on what they make of these latest developments, and this is what he had to say.
It depends on the percentages that will come out of it. You see, we are working and we are into serious business with us, and I will also continue doing business with our clients who are our passengers. If fuel prices are being increased, normally we look at where we are coming from and where we are. Of recent time, we are enjoying significant reduction on fuel, and of recent times, it has started crumbling up. So we look at where exactly it has taken us to. Then we look at our strength. If we are to look for immediate fair prices, or if we are having certain things in line that we are waiting to add something small to it so that it will have some weight whereby we can use to change the face value of the lorry fares as well. It's only the fuel that we have seen some slight changes. Apart from the fuel, the other spare parts are the same, lubricants are the same, and other components as well. If we are to come up with any changes in lorry fares, we are going to look at the spare parts, which hasn't experienced any reduction. We consider all these things before coming up with the 15% reduction. And here they haven't moved. So you can imagine it that we will just take little from some of these components and bring them together so that we can come up with a smiling upward adjustment in lorry fares. We played with our colleagues, professional drivers, to take it easy. If we haven't gotten to where we have to increase lorry fares, they shouldn't do it on their own, because if you do that, it's illegal and it might look as if you are cheating on the public. So we played with our colleagues to take it easy. When the need arises, we immediately take action on it.
So that was Alhaji Abbas Imboro. He's the PRO for GPRTU, expressing their concerns with all that's happening with the price of fuel and the fact that it's not translating in, they've not seen significant reduction in the price of spare parts and the likes. But Doc, let me come back to you. I'm looking at a chart here from your outfit on the cost buildup of fuel. And from the graph that you've provided, the total cost of, the total taxes on petrol as we speak is at about 427 pesos, basically 4 cedis, 27 pesos. Looking at where things are going right now, is it time to revisit some of these taxes, especially with the ones that we know were introduced to cushion us during tough times like this?
Right. I think after listening to my co-economist, that would be an option. Looking at the fact that some taxes were added because fuel prices were going down. So if for the same reason fuel price came up, we can look at it when it's going up to bring it down, right? But if you ask me if we are there yet, I would say maybe not, unless otherwise. Like Prof. Riley mentioned, he said that what we are seeing in terms of the market price of the dollar is where it should be actually. And I think this forecast of 12.5 was done many months ago, if you remember. That's where the dollar to cedi should be. So one thing I always tell people when it comes to trading is this. There are significant impacts of dollar on everything that is imported. All right. At the earlier interview I was granted today, people didn't understand why this price is coming down at the international level, why are we going up? And at the end of the day, we've enjoyed very, very cool price. At least the chamber forecasted a very stable price for a long time because we knew that the plat for both, PMS and AGO would not significantly increase or decrease at a point. If you remember, for the past 3 windows, price have been stable because TD was also stable as well as the plat. So going forward, probably the regulator and the government needs to sit down. I don't think it's only the taxes. If you look at some of the operational costs, for me, something like fuel market, we need to look at it. Is it playing a significant role in the industry today? The regulator should tell us whether we need to review the cost of it added to the pump price, or let's take it out for ordinary Ghanaian to benefit. There are some levies added to the pump price today that needs to be reviewed, whether they make sense or not. At this point, this is the first shock after a long time, so people are worried. Let's see how the next window will look like.
You're saying let's look at it, but the numbers are showing that we should be preparing for even more, because if today it's 11.59 within the first few weeks, doesn't that show where it's tilting towards already?
Well, you know me personally, and I'm a very optimistic person, so I hope for the best.
Okay, so we'll speak to Kwadwo Opoku. He is an energy economist. We'll see if he's as optimistic as you. Thank you so much for your time, sir. Your initial comments, what do you make of what's happening in the energy space with the cost of fuel at the moment?
We said the energy space in particular to which of the sectors?
Oh, I was referring to the cost of fuel, to be specific.
Oh, the cost of fuel. Oh, okay. Well, we all know when Paul said it that, one of the main determinants of petroleum prices in this country is the FX. There was this artificial pricing of FX in the country. And we knew that when the government can no longer connive with Bank of Ghana to give artificial pricing of FX, the real value of FX will come up. And when that happens, petroleum prices are going to go up. Look, what drives the petroleum price is the uncertainty of forward pricing. What you are paying for today, the FX that is used in determining the price is not today's rate. It is the forward rate. So they use MPA with the OMCs and the PDCs, use what you call forward rate. So they will look at, if I'm going to bring in product, I'm going to sell the product, by the time I'm selling that product, what will be the forward price? And now the biggest problem we have is that there's a certain level of uncertainty in the pricing of Forex. And that is what is driving the petroleum prices to go up. Though international prices are quite stable, what is creating this price of 3%, 5% increase here and there is the real price of the cedi coming up and basically distorting the markets.
Okay, it's interesting that you use the word connive, but some argue that, well, the central bank is doing its job, ensuring that it's providing the dollars that's needed to keep the economy running. Don't you agree?
Well, we all know that, look, my brother, there are certain things that you can't invent. We've been in this country for since independence. We know how Bank of Ghana works. We know what Bank of Ghana has. We know the level, the strength of Bank of Ghana. A new governor cannot come in and tell us things as if we don't know Bank of Ghana to be what it is, because that new governor, I don't know the set of tools that he's coming with that we don't know. There's a fundamental principle of Bank of Ghana. Bank of Ghana need to find Forex for importation. Now, one of the biggest challenge in Ghana of importation is the petroleum products. Everybody have heard that we said time and time and time that you need over $400 million every month to import products. Now, there is this banter of ideas where the previous government, the FPP government, came up with good solutions. The ruling party now, the NDC, bastardized that idea. Now they think that, look, we don't need to do that. We have ways of doing it. And everybody's like, okay, let's wait and see if their idea will work. And initially, everybody was basically giving them the applause that, hey, they stabilized, they've done this. But we knew that it's not sustainable. The sustainable way of doing it is how it's been done in the past and how the solution that was preferred. Now, the main issue is how do you sustain finding $450 million every month for the BDCs? And now you begin to see the Bank of Ghana coming up with all these regulations. They came and said, even things that already exist, right? Issuing directives about people pricing in no longer pricing in dollar. Since when? We've heard that so many years. How many years have we been hearing that Bank of Ghana has banned? In Ghana, it gave the law to price everything outside the currency of the country, which is the city. So why are you issuing a directive against something that's illegal, right? So it tells you that they find themselves in a peculiar situation where they keep talking about things that already is illegal. You come and issue a statement about people cannot travel with more than $10,000. That's already the law, okay? You coming to rehash it does not give any confidence to anybody. If you can basically deal with the problem you have, which is you coming in as a new governor and creating the impression that you can sustain a lower city rate, a higher city rate to the lower dollar, we all knew it's not possible without doing some of the fundamental things that was done before, using gold as your main barter commodity, okay? Now, people don't want to hear this, but I'm telling you that as we speak, they wish they can do gold for oil, but they can't because they bastardize it. There is nothing wrong with saying that I got it wrong. I'm going to basically go back to what was done before and basically get it right. There are a lot of issues with the way they are doing and they are handling the currency now, and it's going to come back to bite them.
It's interesting that you say they are looking at going to the gold for oil. But just for context, this governor has been able to increase the import cover to about 4.8 months. It must at least indicate that they are getting something right.
He came to meet it, please. He came to meet that import cover.
No, he increased it from about 3. It moved from about 3 months to about 4.8 months. At least they
look at the amount. Mm-hmm. Please look at the amount. Look at it in terms of the amount. How much of that money was left that he inherited? Okay? There hasn't been any. So let me make this point. And there's something that everybody and you, the journalists, are not helping. You guys should do your research. Look, this government in the last 6 months has not done any significant trade to increase the reserves by the amount they're saying they did. Right? So it has to come from somewhere. And that was something that was inherited. They have not go and do the math and find out how much gold has been sold in the last 8 months through the gold board that has been formed. The amount of gold that they claim has been sold is not that significant to increase that the cover. Okay, so you know that. Look, there is nothing wrong with giving credit when credit is due. You inherit something good, talk about it. Because if you don't, it's going to come back to bite you. This government wants to make it look like everything they inherited from the previous government is bad, which is not true.
I don't think that point is entirely accurate because the IMF report indicated that this government commend. If you let me land, if this government actually gave credit that some of the fundamentals that were laid by the previous government helped in getting the economy where it is, at least they gave some credits in the report. At least that's out there. So it's not as if it's in the IMF report. But you know what? Let's go for a quick break. When we come back, we'll continue this. So you hold your thoughts there. We'll go for a quick break. When we come back, we'll continue. This is Business Focus here on TV3 with me, Michael Obudu. We'll go for a quick breather. When we come back, we'll bring you more. Please stay tuned.
How may I help you today?
We'd like to open a bank account.
Sign here, sign here, sign here, and here. And now you draw.
This is Business Focus here on TV3 with me, Michael Obudu. Now, every day people face different emergencies: police emergency, fire emergency, medical emergency, you name it. But many Ghanaians don't know their emergency numbers. Well, here's one you'd want to remember: *770#. Yes, *770# is a new EcoBank money emergency number. *770# gives you instant access to loans, fund transfers, utility payments, airtime and data purchases, and so much more even without data. So there's no need to panic when you find yourself in any money emergency. EcoBank will always come to your rescue. Dial *770# now for solutions to your money emergencies. EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank, and proud sponsors of Business Focus, as well as Telecel. Well, we'll continue our conversation with Mr. Opoku, who's an energy economist. Chief, so back to you. Now, in your opinion, briefly, what do you think this government is getting wrong that is accounting for this, would you say, subtle rise in the cost of fuel? And if you were in the helm of affairs, what would you do differently?
Well, most people think that some of these things is the Minister of Energy that does that. No, all these things are affected by the Minister of Finance. The issue with what is happening now is people, like I said to you earlier before you went on break, you said the the IMF report. IMF report says one thing, and the government statement on the floor of Parliament says something else. Okay, IMF clearly gives credit to the previous government for laying good foundation. The current government tells the whole world that they made a mess, which is not true. So now the problem they have is that they are not able to even do the very things that the previous government was doing. They can do the same. So the issue is that we know that there is a problem in getting enough Forex for your import cover. The fact that there's been enough reserves that you inherited doesn't mean that you should go and spend that money. And we've all heard Bank of Ghana how much money they have pumped into the economy to basically bring the dollar to the city where it was. Now that they no longer cannot do that, we can see the city losing strength. There needs to be an everlasting solution for that. One is to basically do, if you're going to do gold board, there's nothing wrong with doing gold board, because gold board really, it is still using gold as a tool to stabilize our Forex reserves. So they are basically selling gold for reserves. It's a good thing. But the problem they are having at gold board is the rate, the exchange rate that they are using to buy the gold in the gold buying community. And also the amount, the price that they are giving the gold people. Buying gold in the village at the same price as the market. Because the gold in the village is not a refined gold. And those are some of the problems they are having at the gold board. So what they need to do is to own up to the good things that was done before they came in and learn from that. There's nothing wrong with giving people credit when it's due and basically learn from what they've done to stabilize the economy to where it is now. Because I keep telling people that people keep saying that the economy is better. Yes, but if you look at the curve, it's the curve of growth. It's not a V, it's not a U, it's a straight line. It tells you that it was coming from somewhere, heading somewhere, and it's continuing. And that's the only reason it's a straight line and not a curve. So there were good things happening before they came in. They should acknowledge it and basically continue from there.
Okay, but at least to the average Ghanaian who used to buy fuel for about 14, 15 cedis at the start of the year and currently buying it around 12, 13, thereabouts, at least they are feeling the impacts. I don't know if you agree with that. But before you respond to that, let me speak to Dr. Everett. Before you come.
I agree with you that petrol prices are cheaper now than they were at the beginning
Exactly.
of the year. I'm not going to argue. We all know that. We all buy fuel. But with the trajectory at which we are going, with the city losing value, we might end up the year the same prices that we started the year with.
Okay.
Then it will be cost 90. We are saying that, look, there are good things, like my brother Opon Kroma said as well, Parliament. We are petroleum commentators, okay?
Yeah.
We do comment you when you do good. What we are saying is that you are doing well, but do not discard all the good things that your previous person has done. Look at some of those good things and add it to the good things you are doing.
Point well noted. I have to end it here. Forgive me. Point well noted. At least the bottom line is there. Acknowledge what the other government has done and learn from them and make it better. But Dr. Paul, let me come to you. So I was looking at the cost build-up again and the floor price that was quoted for the previous month from your own data. And I see that it's at about 10 point something. Yet the average price that your members were selling for were at about, I think the lowest was around 11 point something. Yeah, so you see as high as 14, floor price 11.34. Doesn't that also suggest that maybe you, the OMCs, are also part of the problem with your high margins?
No, come on.
A genuine question.
No, I mean, I was going to give a genuine answer. You and I know what floor price is. Floor price is the price below which you cannot sell. It's not an average price.
According to the NPA, the floor price is the average cost build-up, right?
No, it's not. It's not. Floor price is a price below which you cannot sell. It's not an average price.
Yes, but that is based on the average price across the market.
What the public need to understand is this.
Yeah.
The floor price does not include the margin from the BDC.
Okay.
Yeah?
All right.
And it does not include the margin from the OMC.
All right.
And it doesn't also include the margin from the dealers. So there are three margins that are not in the floor price.
In the floor price.
And MPA cannot set that price because it's not regulated.
Okay. That's fine. Prof, I'll come to you. Final words. So what's the way forward? What should we be doing differently now to ensure that we continue to enjoy the low cost of fuel? Because really, if not for the CD depreciation, we should have seen prices go down, looking at the numbers that, for instance, Comac have shared with us.
Well, I think where we said the CD dollar rate is a major thing. To some extent, a lot of these are not in our control, except the taxes, because what the global price is looking like, we have very little control. To some extent, we could control the CD currency, the CD exchange rate, but not by forcing it to be a rate that is not realistic. So I think the only argument comes with the taxes and whether government will consider removing the taxes. I think, given that we haven't reached our, the rates, the prices we were at the start of the year, perhaps maybe now it's not the time to take any action. But if the city continues to lose value and the prices are getting out of hand, then perhaps the government should consider revising some of the taxes.
All right, Prof. Thank you so much for your time. That was Professor Patrick Esuming, an economist. Earlier, we had Kojo Poku, an energy economist, as well, joining us. We had also the CEO of the Chamber of Oil Marketing Companies, Comac, Dr. Riverson Opong, also joining us. That will be all for today's edition of Business Focus. For more business stories, please visit our website, historynews.com/business. Next week, we'll be back, same time, with more interesting conversations in the world of business for you. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Michael Obodu. As always, stay safe.
Business Focus is brought to you by EcoBank, Telecel,